Hi, I'm Jolene Ferris. I am so proud to have been here for 31 of our 75 years. It's my job now to usher you from the 90s to now, the changes we've seen together and what the future might hold that we will face together.
Nobody had computers when I started here. I mean, 1975 is when I walked in the door.
WKTV Chief Engineer Tom McNichol has been with us right around 50 years, a witness to and shepherd of half a century of change.
I think the first computer we got was probably late 70s, early 80s, and it was a little green screen terminal in the newsroom that received Associated Press feeds.
No computers. What did they have, typewriters?
Yes, everything was typed out. All scripts were typed on typewriters.
Oh, what sci-fi-esque modernization and evolution lie ahead of us.
One of the biggest changes that happened, like I think it was around 92, 93, was getting away from the large format tapes, like 2-inch tape, and getting away from film in the news department.
Gone were the massive 3/4-inch tape decks and tapes, replaced by smaller beta tapes.
They're still bulky to carry around for the photographers, but that was the next step after film.
It seemed so cutting edge at the time.
Once you put a film reel together and took it in the back to run for a newscast, you couldn't edit that. You couldn't drop a story. You couldn't switch stories around because they were all spliced together on one reel and put up on the projector. You go to a tape format, and now we had individual tapes for each story that went into 4 different machines, and there was an operator that would shuffle between the machines. You could make changes on the fly very easily.
Before long, there would be no more need to leave your newsroom desk for the edit base to edit a news story. Enter nonlinear editing. Tapes are replaced by a tiny SD card about the size of a penny, and everything, even editing, is done at your desk.
And now everybody in the news department has access to that clip.
The 90s are when we went live, first with a massive live truck that always felt like it never wanted to move. Today, we do live shots from backpacks. It wasn't just how we shot and edited the news that would undergo massive changes, but how we deliver it to you in your home.
I think one of the major changes I encountered in my time here in almost 50 years was going to digital, going to an HD format. When we had to install a digital transmitter, change channels, and then run both channels at the same time for a while.
In 2008, Chief Engineer Tom McNichol pulled the lever signaling the end of our analog transmission. We were now digital, and that meant the end of the sign-on era.
Not like the brazen giant of Greek fame with conquering limbs astride from land to land. Here at our sea-washed sunset gate shall stand a mighty woman with a torch, whose flame is the imprisoned lightning, and her name, Mother of Exile. From her beacon hand glows worldwide welcome. Her mild eyes command the air-bridged harbor the Twin Cities frame. Keep, ancient lands, your storied pomp, cries she with silent lips. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. The wretched refuse of your teeming shore, send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed, to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door.
This also meant no more signing off, a comforting beacon of familiarity for our most loyal viewers and night owls.
Up the long, delirious, burning blue, I top the windswept heights with easy grace, where never lark or even eagle flew. And while with silent lifting mind, I've trod the high, untrespassed sanctity of space, put out my hand and touched the face of God.
We didn't need a sign on or off anymore because we were broadcasting around the clock, because turning the digital transmitter off, that would have taken too long for the tubes to heat back up. Yes, the 90s were an era of firsts, our efforts to not just call ourselves your news leader, but to be worthy of the title.
News Channel 2, first with a half hour of morning news, first with the noon news, first with weekend news, first with meteorologists, first with Doppler radar, and more. News Channel 2, doing it right the first time. News you can count on in every newscast, every day. Watch the proven news leader, News Channel 2, the first choice, the right choice for news.
Our postmodern 90s forward era didn't only mean strides in technology for KTV, it meant strides in humanity. We weren't just building and buying better equipment. We were building something equally, if not more important, though perhaps less obvious and tangible. We were building relationships, connections with the people we serve, reaching for their hearts, not just their TV sets. The Smith television era.
We felt that this market was ripe for someone to take the leadership position in the market with respect to all of the public service organizations and great cultural attractions that this area has to offer. By coming in and bringing this type of an opportunity into all of the public service organizations, we were able to allow a lot of these businesses and organizations to prosper, and as they prosper and grew, we made friends. Those friends began to watch our television station more closely and began to have a vested interest in what we were doing. And as we improved the product, and as we got more involved in the community, we just attracted more people. It made good business sense, and as a new member of the community, I certainly wanted to make this a great place for my family and all the other people that live in this area for years to come.
Through all the changes, one constant remained, an anchor in terms of more than a stalwart, trustworthy, comforting presence on the news set, in terms of someone who helped us feel safe and grounded through all those changes. Through the chaos of every holiday season, we could count on Bill Worden's annual message to quiet our minds and remind us of what really matters.
But whether you're Christian or Jew or any other faith, whether you celebrate Christmas today or Hanukkah or nothing at all, the message of Christmas is clear. If you don't have Christmas and the spirit of love that it commands in your heart, you'll never find it under a tree. On behalf of the entire staff and their families here at WKTV, this is Bill Worden, wishing you and your family a Merry Christmas and an exciting New Year.
Another holiday tradition, the appeal of which spans generations, the WKTV Christmas card.
See it? Can't you hear it? It's everywhere. It's Christmas. Gather around now. Sidewalk Santa. Children with dreams. Asking him please. It's Christmas. It's Christmas. It's painting the town with red and silver bells and laughter all around. With scurrying people.
I recently spoke with a college class, and when it came time for questions, they asked me if we're doing a Christmas card this year. In many ways, our current Heartland media era is defined not by a return to basics, but reinforced commitment to good old-fashioned pen and paper journalism. asking the questions that need to be asked, like our story in 2022 that changed how the New York State Attorney General's office does gun buybacks and was picked up by news organizations around the world, and our relentless drive to give a voice to those who might not otherwise have one, like local subsidized housing tenants living in squalor, they say, at the mercy of an embattled absentee landlord. State lawmakers are now listening to their plight and getting involved in its resolution. The reasons we all got into journalism in the first place.
I'd only stationed just a few weeks, and this guy called me, told me said he was 75 years old. His wife was 75. They both had health problems. His whole neighborhood had health problems. And they had 10 feet of snow and couldn't get a snow plow from the city or the county or the state. I called Steve. Y'all got a reporter out there somehow, I don't know how, and interviewed the guy. And the next day there were snow plows from the state and the county, and just cleaning up. And he called me and said, "Mr. Prather, you saved lives when you made me feel good."
The obvious question: where, if anywhere, do we go from here? In the 70s, you couldn't have envisioned all this. So sitting here today, it's like, where do we go from here? Telepathically conveying the news from our brain to the viewer? Like, is this it? Like, is this the final frontier? Or could we possibly evolve and modernize from here?
I think AI is going to play a big part in what's coming down the road. I think AI is going to write a lot of your scripts at some point.
Like, are we the last generation that's going to retire from this business?
I don't think it's a dying business, but I think it's a changing business, and it's rapidly changing, and it's getting into more of the streaming services. I think the traditional over-the-air broadcast at some point is going to go away. People still need to see your face. They need to see a local face.
I would agree with Tom. AI will likely have a role, but it won't dry the tears of a mother grieving the loss of her child, and it won't ask the source of the information it's seeking how their daughter's semester went or how their son is doing in rehab. There's no substitute for a heartbeat.